I've used many different rifle and ammunition cases for air travel over the years. I've used cheap Plano cases, expensive Pelican and Tuffpak cases, and a super expensive Americase. Ironically, the cheapest and most expensive gun cases I've ever bought both failed on me. That flimsy Plano case developed a big crack in the middle, probably from airline mishandling, and I ended up with a ruined scope because of that impact. And the super expensive Americase that I spent a fortune on was dented very badly by mishandling by an airline. But it was also scratched up really bad after only 2 trips, and it just looked really ugly. So I learned my lesson about aluminum cases as well. And, to add insult to injury with that Americase, their customer service was very bad in my experience. Americase no longer makes rifle cases, and I guess I understand why. I also have a friend that bought one of those cheap Harbor Freight Pelican case clones for his trip to South Africa, and that recently broke on him. It was actually 2 hinges broke on him. And I've also seen one of those flimsy Pelican Volt budget cases fail. So your rifles are traveling to Africa with you on probably multiple jets. So don't go cheap on your rifle case and risk damage to your gun. In this video, I'll discuss rifle and ammunition cases and the ones that I recommend for travel to Africa. The best and most consistently reliable rifle case I've ever used for Africa travel is the venerable Pelican 1750. I'd say that probably 90% of experienced Africa hunters use this exact case. I've never seen one of these break or fail, and I've actually never had a rifle lose zero while being transported in one of these cases. Now, you have 2 options for packing rifles in the Pelican 1750. You could customize the foam in the case to the exact shape of your rifles, or you can remove a layer of foam and place the rifles inside the Pelican case in soft cases. Using soft rifle cases inside your hard Pelican rifle case is easy, simple, and effective. And it provides an easy way to get a soft case to Africa too, which you'll need in most places while you're transporting your rifles in the truck, while you're going to and from the hunting grounds in the morning and afternoon. The downside of doing this, though, is that the rifles aren't totally secure from moving around inside this soft rifle case. And the soft rifle case itself isn't 100% secure from moving around a little bit inside the hard case. This theoretically could cause you to maybe lose zero or maybe even a rifle to get damaged, but countless people do this with their Pelican 1750s with no issues at all. And I've carried rifles, I've transported rifles this way many times, and I've never experienced a damaged scope rifle or a zero shift. Customizing foam to the shape of your rifle is probably the most secure method of using a Pelican case. Simply trace out the shape of the rifle and cut out the foam to that shape with a sharp knife. More recently, pick and pluck foam has become extremely popular, which eliminates the need to cut your foam. And your Pelican case is super easy when it comes to TSA and airport inspections. I mean, you simply open up the lid and let the inspector work. Everyone appreciates the simplicity of a case like this when it comes to inspections. And the shape of this case also fits in light aircraft a lot better than some other case designs. Yeah. Now, the Pelican 1750 has one negative in my opinion. I don't like that it has 4 lock holes on it because some overbearing or sometimes hateful TSA agents will insist that every hole has a lock in it. Most agents just want locks on both ends so somebody can't pry up one corner of your rifle case and pull the rifle out. Most TSA agents are fine with a lock on both ends, usually 2 locks. But once in a while, you will run into TSA assholes that want a lock in every hole, and that really sucks. Also, be mindful that Pelican makes some cheap, flimsier cases like the Vault series that just aren't up to the quality standards of the protector cases like the 1750. On most of my travels around the world, I do use this Pelican 1750 rifle case. 20 years ago, you just weren't cool if you didn't have a Tuffpak. They don't look like gun cases, more like a golf case. And, they allow you to pack a lot of other things besides just your rifles in this gun case. And, they're also tough as hell and they do take a beating. But as the years went on, many hunters kind of dumped the Tuffpak and went back to their Pelican cases for air travel. The main benefit of these Tuffpak cases is that you can add rifles in soft cases, pack your jackets, hunting boots, shooting sticks, a cleaning rod, and other things in this case, then kind of pack clothing around it to add padding and to keep everything tight and secure in the case. This is kind of like a suitcase that carries your rifles. In theory, this was the perfect Africa rifle case, but some drawbacks quickly became apparent with the Tuffpak. In my opinion, a Tuffpak is a TSA agent or foreign customs officer's worst nightmare. When it's your turn to get in on the inspection counter to have your rifles inspected, you have to remove all of this carefully packed crap out of the case to access your rifles while they wait. Most TSA agents and African inspectors do not like waiting on you while you try to unpack and repack this case on their inspection table while you're holding up the line. I've seen some TSA agents that get downright angry when they see a Tuffpak coming towards them. Because of this, some countries and even airlines modified the rules for firearms transport and no longer allow clothing inside your gun case for travel. South Africa, as a country, technically no longer allows clothing inside your gun case. And, with that rule, it pretty much killed the utility of the Tuffpak for many hunters. That's because in order to get the Tuffpak to work, you have to pack stuff around your rifle cases tightly to prevent internal movement, which can damage your rifle or, cause your scope to lose zero. And your clothing was kind of used to do that. But this aside, I still find utility in using a Tuffpak for some of my hunting trips. On my trip this year, I'm taking several fishing rods with me, and I don't want to put these fishing rods in my regular check bag because that's already full. I'm also taking a set of quad sticks with me because I noticed in a recent video posted by my PH that his shooting sticks have duct tape around them. So I want to use my quad sticks. And also I prefer my quad sticks over a tripod when I'm shooting predators out of a blind, and I'm going to be doing that this year. And, I could fit all of that and 2 rifles into my Tuffpak with room to spare. Since I don't pack clothing into my Tuffpak anymore because I don't want to run into any problems, this is what I do. I order a sheet of foam off of Amazon, and then I cut pieces to fit the top and the bottom of the case. This will go under the lid on the top. This will go on the bottom of the case. Then I cut some foam into strips and I wedge these down into the case. to fill up the voids in the case between what I have in there and keep everything from moving around and keep everything nice and padded and secure. I also practice a lot packing and unpacking the same exact load right here over and over to where I instinctively know how to fit everything in here. This lets me get on and off the TSA inspection table very fast. I've timed myself and I could fit everything in this Tuffpak perfectly and securely in under 1 minute. This case is also great for other types of hunting trips beside Africa. If you fly somewhere to hunt waterfowl, the Tuffpak is perfect for packing your waders and a couple of shotguns in it for your trip. The lock style for your Tuffpak is going to be personal preference. Some people prefer the integrated key lock, but I personally like the padlock option better because I don't like having to take and secure keys with me as I travel. For the exception of some foreign regional airlines like Airlink, most airlines around the world want you to put your ammunition inside a piece of your checked baggage. But a couple of small airlines like Airlink will make you check your ammunition as a separate item entirely. But both scenarios still require you to put your ammunition in a locked hard case. You should always keep your factory ammunition in its original packaging that it came with from the factory. And you should place your reloaded ammo in a slip top ammo carrier like this. Rounds can't be loose inside one of these ammo cases. That's not allowed by any airline or any country. When I use these slip tops for my reloaded ammo, I always put a rubber band around the slip tops to keep the top of the case from coming off and keep everything tight and secure in there. Then, after you secure this, all of your ammunition will go in your container. Like that. New hunters often make the mistake of going way overkill with their ammo cases. I see it all the time. They get one of these heavy duty Pelican or SKB cases for their first trip to Africa, thinking beefier is better. Then they find out that it just weighs too damn much and it takes up too much room in their checked baggage. A case like this only weighs 1 pound, and a heavy duty case like this can weigh 3 or 4 pounds and takes up a much larger footprint in your luggage. And then some cases are just made out of material that's so brittle, the first thing that impacts us will shatter it. So you don't want that either. Almost every airline around the world that allows you to transport ammunition will only allow you to take 11 pounds or 5 kilograms of ammunition with you. Sometimes an airline employee will include the weight of the entire case as part of your total ammunition weight. British Airways has done this to me more than once. They're not supposed to do that, but you'll find that they'll often do it anyways. And the worst thing you could do is argue with an airline employee while you're trying to clear your guns and ammo through. I usually take about 60 rounds of ammo with me to Africa, and I always have lots of ammunition left over. So I want an ammo case that holds 3 containers of 20 rounds. And really, any type of ammo container that holds more than that is just a waste of space and weight for me. Probably 75% of African hunters out there use exactly what I use, the MTM Survivor Dry Box. I believe even Craig Boddington uses this for his ammunition. They make this in 2 sizes, and you want to make sure that you get the large size. And these are 100% made in the United States. They're watertight. They have 3 really good latches around them. I've never seen one break. They accept locks, which, is going to be mandatory in most spots. They easily hold 60 rounds of Magnum ammunition. Here, I'll show you. This is factory ammunition right here. 60 rounds of 458 lot. See, holds it perfectly in there. So these hold plenty of all the ammo you're going to need for your trip. And the good part about this box is it only weighs 1 pound and it takes up a very small footprint inside your checked baggage. Also, you want to use a TSA lock on your ammo box because this is going to go inside your checked bag when you leave the United States, and they probably will inspect this while it's inside your bag. So put a TSA, even though you might not use TSA locks on your gun case, make sure you do use TSA locks on your ammo case. So on my upcoming trip to Zimbabwe, I'll be taking a 416 Rem mag and a 35 Wayland with me, and this is how I packed my ammo box. When it comes to locks for your rifle case, the internet might confuse you with conflicting advice. So rather than add to their conjecture, I'll read you the rules when it comes to locks for your rifle case. 49 CFR, Part 1540-111C states, the firearm must be unloaded, carried in a hard-sided container, and the container in which it is carried is locked, and only the passenger retains the key or combination. So by the letter of the law, you can use a TSA or non-TSA lock on your gun case. I personally use non-TSA locks, and I personally use non-TSA combination locks because you might get called by a TSA agent requesting access to your gun case while you're waiting at your gate. And having a combo lock will save you from running across the airport to hand them a key so they can go back in your gun case. Regular TSA employees and airport or airline employees are not allowed in your gun case without permission. So I stay away from TSA locks when it comes to my gun cases. When selecting locks for gun cases, use the most heavy-duty lock that'll fit in the hole for your gun case, the lock hole. You don't want cheap locks here like a lot of people get. And remember, some overbearing TSA agents will probably insist that every gun case padlock hole has a lock in it, so be prepared for that. For combo locks, I like the ones with the 4-digit code on them because they're much harder for thieves to crack. Also, don't do like most people did and put your finger across when you reset the lock and spin all the digits at the same time, because thieves have a trick to gain quick access to your lock when you do that. And when it comes to your ammunition case should always be locked as well, but you should use a TSA approved lock for that. So let's read the federal rules regarding storage of your ammunition while you travel. 49 CFR Part 175.10 states, small arms ammunition for personal use must be in checked baggage only, securely packed in boxes or other packaging specifically designed to carry small amounts of ammunition. 49 CFR Part 1540-111 states, this section does not prohibit the carriage of ammunition in checked baggage or in the same container as a firearm. So all the federal government says is that your ammo has to be checked. Basically, it has to be in a checked bag. Most of the rules surrounding your travels with ammunition are actually airline-specific rules rather than government rules. A few airlines will let you put your ammunition case inside your gun case. But most airlines aren't going to let you do that. Most airlines are going to insist that your ammunition case goes inside a regular checked bag. Now, Delta and many other airlines have specific requirements for traveling to and from Africa with ammunition. And here's what they state: ammunition must be packed in a small case or box. The box or case must be locked and placed inside checked baggage. Ammunition cannot be stored in the same case as the weapon. So most airline rules actually are the same as what Delta stated here when it comes to traveling to Africa with ammunition. They usually want you to lock your ammo in a case and then put that case inside of a checked bag. And since TSA has free access to your ammo case in your checked bag, you should always use the TSA approved lock on that. So locks can be a confusing subject for Africa travel. So I hope I cleared a lot of that up. So when it comes to gun cases, I recommend that you don't go cheap on your gun case. And I also recommend that you use good non-TSA locks on it. For your ammunition case, don't go too heavy or too large on your ammo box, and use a TSA lock on that. Basically, in those last two sentences, I just explained everything you need to know. In addition to this, I always keep a color copy of my Form 4457 inside my gun case. I also put a tracker in my gun case. An AirTag if you have Apple devices, and a smart tag too if you have Android devices. Never, ever underestimate the incompetence or anti-hunting hate of a TSA or airport employee. Mishandling your gun case and making you jump through totally unnecessary loopholes is a real thing we have to deal with as hunters. So be prepared for that. And you should be prepared for this by protecting your rifle the best that you can, having all of your paperwork in order, and following the rules to the letter. Don't take chances on it or play loose and fast with airline or TSA or visiting country rules. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video about gun and ammunition cases for Africa. Thank you for watching, and as always, good hunting.